Hola y bienvenidos a Momentos que lo cambian todo, el podcast donde buscar más que respuestas, buscamos hacer preguntas que nos hagan reflexionar, preguntas que nos inspiren, que nos reten y que nos ayuden a descubrir esos instantes que marcan un antes y un después de quienes lideran, de quienes crean, de quienes construyen marcas y proyectos con impacto. Hoy de verdad es un episodio muy especial para mí. Porque no solo vamos a conocer una historia increíble, sino que además es nuestro primer episodio grabado en inglés. Y para este momento tan especial, tengo como invitada a una gran amiga con quien me une una amistad de más de 10 años. So let's switch to English and welcome our guest. Tiffany, Tiff, as I like to call her, she's a wife, she's a mom, she's a nurse practitioner, and a visionary entrepreneur. For years, she worked in the high pressure world of surgical and trauma critical care, saving lives, but always leading with compassion. Then she took a bold leap, left the hospital to build her own full service aesthetics and wellness business, Pearl NP, in Lancaster, Ohio. A space dedicated to enhance natural beauty and cultivate confidence. So, welcome, Tiff. I'm really excited to having you here,
Thanks.
and
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
it's gonna be a great chat. So, Tiff, beyond your impressive career and everything you've built, who are you as a person? Like, what has helped you get you where you are today?
Oh my gosh. Well, I feel like I'm really down to earth. I'm super self-motivated, which you have to be in the entrepreneurial space. I am a go-getter. I'm always looking to take the next step. What's next? How can I make myself better? There's, you never want to be the person at the top because there's always somewhere to climb. And at least you need to be aware of that. And so I try to stay humble and recognize my shortcomings all the time and be aware that I always have something to learn. And I'm excited to always learn the next thing.
Yeah, that's great that you're sharing that because it talks about who you are and you made a commitment to yourself. So always keep learning, always be open to new things, to perspective. You never know what you can learn from people, and you never know what you can learn from yourself. So thanks for sharing that. So, Tiff, this podcast is called Momentos que lo cambian todo, moments that change everything. And we really want to take a deep understanding of the moment of the people. So, if you would have to choose like one single moment, the moment that truly changed everything for you and set you on a new path, what would it be and why?
Oh my gosh. Well, guess what I thought it was? My career path kind of went from hospital space to outpatient space. And in the hospital space, everything was very hands on. I loved that. That was why I went into nursing as my career because I got to do things, not just sit and talk, not just be on a computer. I liked working with tools with my hands. And so I loved that in the hospital space. And then I became a nurse practitioner and I transitioned out of the hospital into family practice. And that was a lot more sitting, computer, talking, which don't get me wrong, I like to run my mouth and talk a lot, but I was missing that hands on aspect. And I just kept trying to figure out how I could get that back in that space. And so in family practice, I was often the person who did the most procedures. Everybody else that I worked with in the office would always send their patients to me, to Tiffany will do it, Tiffany will do it, I'll treat you for this. And then you're going to come back in and see Tiffany and she'll take care of it, she'll do the procedure. And so I was getting that back. And then I just, I was just complacent. And I was wondering, what's next? I'm always wondering, what's next? And because I'm a go getter, I figured maybe I can do something myself. Maybe I can build something myself. Maybe I can be an entrepreneur and have more family time. Well, that was a lie. That doesn't happen. Complete opposite, actually. You go from working a regular job or regular hours to working 24/7. But needless to say, it's okay. My kids are 7 and 8, and they recognize that there's time for work and there's time for play. But I think that really I just felt like I was still getting that emotional connection with my patients when I got to sit with them and talk with them. But I was really missing that hands on connection, just the procedural things that I went into nursing to begin with. And
Mhm.
aesthetics was able to bring that back because it's almost all procedural. Of course, we added in wellness, and then I still get to sit down and talk with people about wellness things, but procedures is where it's at. That's my passion.
That's great, and you talk about interesting things about discovering your true passion, what really moves you from the inside, leaving your comfort zone. That's something challenging, something that there's a lot of fears behind, but it's a matter of embracing your fears and taking things on the energy of the things you want to do and really find your passion. So within these changes that start happening for you, when did you start considering leaving the hospital world? Was it a sudden decision or it was a process that took shape over time?
Actually, it's kind of funny you say that because as a registered nurse, I worked in the hospital, of course. And then while I was working as a registered nurse, I went back to get my nurse practitioner, my master's in nursing. And the goal was to get my master's in nursing so that I could get out of the hospital setting. That's literally why I did it. I wanted to get my nurse practitioner, get out of the hospital so that I didn't have to work weekends and holidays and I didn't work. I would have more family time actually. And once I graduated and got my nurse practitioner, I was terrified to leave the hospital. I was like, I only know the hospital. What if I leave and then I can't come back? I couldn't take the leap. So for the next 2.5 years, I stayed in the hospital. And that's when my schedule changed a bit and I was working even more. Sometimes I had 80-hour work weeks and I had a baby at home and I realized, kind of a funny story because he's okay, but I put my son in his swing and I didn't strap him in, even though there's straps there. And I walked away and, I didn't hear a whimper or anything, but I did hear a noise, came back, and the swing is still swinging and my son is under the swing. He
Ooh.
was really small. He didn't cry, he was still sleeping. And I guess at that point, I was kind of like, all right, I didn't know my son could roll over, and this is what happened. And that's because I haven't been with him for the last entire week because I've been working 7 days straight. And I was like, the whole reason I got into being a nurse practitioner was to get out of this type of schedule. And so I think it's time. And I switched into family practice actually. And I think family practice has been a really, really huge role. It's really helped shape my aesthetic practice. I don't think that just because I'm in aesthetics, it's separate from primary care medicine. And without the experiences that I've already had, I wouldn't be as good of a provider as I am now. I wouldn't be as thorough. And so, um, while I got into family medicine, I also was doing a little aesthetics on the side, trying to grow a little bit of a following. And as that grew, I worked both jobs, so still working a ton. And eventually, I knew that my aesthetics business would get large enough for me to step away from family practice. And that happened I started the business in early 2020 before we had this whole COVID blow up. So luckily, I was still had my family practice to fall back on. But in 2022, mid 2022 was when I took the leap and stepped away from family practice and was like, all right, this is it. Full-time aesthetics. Did that answer your
Oh,
question or did I just
yeah,
ramble?
yeah. No, no, no. No, it's great. And And a great takeaway that I see from this is everything starts here. It's the matter of what's the mindset for a change, what's the mindset for the moment of doing this change, and there's no perfect moment, there's no perfect timing. You cannot plan everything. So it's also a matter of feeling your guts, your heart, and your mind towards what can be the change towards that will change everything for you. And Tiff, within these very first steps and first challengers in the in opening your own business, and along that journey, how did you discover the world of aesthetics and wellness? What motivated you to get into new world?
Facebook. I actually, a friend who I had worked with in the hospital, another nurse practitioner, she actually left Ohio and moved to Florida. And when she got to Florida, she had started an aesthetics business and she was posting about it. And I was like, what is this? Like, I, I'm very interested because it was just like procedural. And she was posting about procedures she was doing and explaining it and educating. And I was like, this is really interesting. Um, and I looked into it for a while and I actually talked myself out of it. I was like, there's no way I can do this. There's no way I can do it. There's no way I can do it. For a couple of years, I felt that way. I would kind of hem haw back and forth. And then actually, that was before I had children. Um, and then I had two kids. And then I was like, you know what? Why do I keep going back and forth on this? If it's something that I keep coming back to, I need to just go for it. Stop, like, because the time is still going to pass and I'm going to come back to thinking about this again, and the time's just going to keep going. So I need to just take the plunge.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. Like once you start seeing the beauty out of things, you start seeing like how much valuable it's time. Like there's like it's priceless. And the time you spend doing things that you love, doing things for other people that you love as well, it's amazing how you start changing from that.
Yeah, I think
And
when you're like there are a lot of fears, of course, like you mentioned, and that's all that I like the fears hold you back. But if it's something you keep coming back to, that's one thing that I've always mentioned to people whenever whenever I have deep conversations with people, I'm like, if you keep thinking about this, you have to see what happens. You have to try it. You have to go for it because you're going to keep coming back to it. And if you don't pursue it, you're always going to wonder what would have happened.
yeah, I was in a conference last year, and I asked the conference a question, and I asked him like, what about like leaving comfort zone? How do I manage my fears and that? And he told me like, if the goal is not big enough and you don't make your legs shake, question about the goal. If it's not enough, if you have fear about it, it'll make you have fear about it because it's very challenging for you. So it's the matter of embracing your fears and take them for you and towards what you want to achieve. So it's the matter of mindset as well. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, like you mentioned, gut, mind, and heart, because they kind of all have to go together, but they have to support each other. Because I have seen a lot of times, I'm sure you've heard or seen the posts that say, if you're comfortable, you're not growing. And I think that that is one of those things that maybe I kind of enjoy that little bit of fear because once I get comfortable, that's my clue to start looking for the next thing. What do I need to do now? I'm too comfortable. I need to learn something new.
Yeah, no, that's great, and it's the matter of you questioning yourself towards what's next, what I can keep learning, and what I can keep adding value to people. So that's amazing. So, Tiff, what lessons from your nursing career have been most valuable in your life now as an entrepreneur?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I think something that really it took a while for me to understand and get comfortable with myself and to be authentic. And I think authenticity is probably one of my most important passions. I just I always want to be myself, and I always want to be myself to, I want patients to know me, and I want them to feel comfortable with me. And if I have to change who I am and a patient's not comfortable with who my authentic self is, then maybe they're not the right patient for me and I'm not the right provider for them. So I think that as I was going through my career in the beginning, you're afraid of physicians. They're these godlike people because they have all of this education, and oh my gosh, they're so much better than we are. But we're all the same. We're all people. We all function the same way. And when you start to relax and talk to people and recognize that we all have the same emotions, the same feelings, the same goals in life, then you can be yourself and you can get and gain things from other people. And that in critical care was a big deal when you're taking care of people that are, you know, really, really sick and you're having to connect with their families, but you also have to protect your heart in that so that you're not too emotionally invested. Um, but the learning to be me helped me connect with families, learning to be me, learning to be myself, learning that everyone else, if you can make yourself comfortable, they can be comfortable. And that allows people to trust you. It allows people to tell you things that maybe they wouldn't have told you before. It gains loyalty and you don't have to fake it. It's easy. It's easy to be yourself.
Yeah. No, it's amazing if you see like within business or within brands, and it ends up to people. Like brands, business are run by people, and it's the matter of building relationships with people. And those relationships build with trust, empathy, and really like being honest and true to the other person around and seeing how you connect. So I think that's really inspiring. And Tiff, your business is built around the idea of cultivating confidence, enhancing natural beauty. Where does that philosophy come from?
I think that again, authenticity. A lot of people want to come to a medical spa, or I guess maybe people that are skeptical of medical spas. Those people more so are. I think they have the wrong idea. They think that you go to a medical spa to look different, and they are worried that you're gonna change who you are, and you're not gonna look like yourself, and they're not gonna recognize you. But the goal is really not to change you because that's honestly, I can't do that. I'm not a magician. I mean, I'm really good, but I'm not a magician. But the goal is really when you look good and you look in the mirror and you're happy with what you see, that also makes you feel good. It makes you hold your head up higher. It makes you um, go to your job interview and have more confidence, and it makes you just seize the day. How you present yourself on the outside is also how you're feeling on the inside and vice versa. So we're not necessarily looking to change someone's look, but if they come in and they're saying, this really bothers me about my cheek. I've always noticed this cheek is a little smaller than this cheek, or whatever the case may be, their lips, their nose, whatever it is. It's a small tweak here and there. And if that little thing can help enhance their confidence and make them more successful from day to day, why wouldn't we do that? It's all about getting the feeling. People come in and they're buying a feeling.
Yeah. So that's amazing. And also within buying that feeling, for me that see it from the outside, it's also living a truly experience from themselves. And like, how do you make people feel that they are really having a unique experience at your aesthetic business? I mean, not just the service they receive, but within the empathy, within the personal connection,
Yeah.
within like you create these really people feel that they were first heard, understood, and you're really providing them something that will help them.
Well, this is something that I learned through my nursing career. Learn to listen. Sometimes there are people who just don't easily connect with other people. They might be very guarded, but you'll notice if you truly listen to what people are saying, it might not even be their words, it might be how they say it, and you respond authentically and you have a conversation with them based on what they're looking for and not what you want to do. It's not about me, it's about you. Having that selflessness, listening and truly understanding what they're looking for and letting them know that you can hear them and that these are the options that will get you to your goal. And I think that when you stop trying to sell a certain procedure because this is the newest one you got, or when you tell someone no, so many times I tell people no all the time. You are not, like somebody might say, I had a patient last week who was sent here by a dermatologist and they said, you need filler. We don't do it here. Go see Tiffany. And that's also one of the best confidence boosters is when other medical offices are referring their patients to you. But she came in and she was like, yes, they said I need filler. I want this, this, and this. And I was like, no, you don't want that. And then educating them on why they don't want it. Because I could very easily put a lot of filler in this person's face and take a lot of her money. But I explained that that wouldn't be a good idea. She would not be happy in the end. I always am results driven. And when you're not results driven and you're more always thinking about the money, I think that's something that can hurt you long term. So you have to listen to what their goal is and teach them how to get to that goal in the most realistic way, in the most cost effective way, because if you take all their money, they can't come back and see you. And in a way that helps them understand that you hear what they're saying and we're going to get you to the goal. You have to empathize with them and understand that you have to take multiple things into account. That, they're sharing secrets with you that they don't talk to people about. They're telling you all the things they don't like about themselves. And that's a hard thing to do. So you kind of have to come at it gently, but you also have to educate and you have to remember that you are the expert in your field. When they walk in and they say, I want this because someone told me I need it, and you know that's not the right thing, you have to confidently tell them, and you're not being mean. But if you don't tell them that that's the wrong choice, you're doing them a disservice. So remember that you are the expert. Remind yourself that you know what you're talking about and teach them why those are the wrong things, or they might be something you do later and why it's better to do it this way.
Yeah. So that's really, really powerful, and I perceive that honesty is one of the strengths of your business. You're honest to people. You don't care about like making money about certain things. You truly care about helping people achieve what they want, make them feel happy, make them feel fulfilled towards that, and make them feel listened as well. Because at the end, you are delivering towards what you think and recommend is best for them, and you really want to make them feel. So I think that's amazing, and I really admire that honesty and the passion you deliver towards that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are afraid to say no because when somebody comes in and requests something, well, they're coming in because they need help. They're coming to you because they are seeing you as an expert. They've done their research. They know where they're going. They've read your reviews. They're coming there because they trust that you're going to do the right thing. And when you take their advice when they're not the expert, that might be the wrong thing to do.
Yeah, and saying no, it's hard, it's tough, but at the end, it's important because you are not thinking just short term. You're opening a possibility for the long term, and
Mhm.
you're building a relationship with that patient. Probably that patient that felt heard, that felt understood. It's like a strong relationship toward the future. So I think that's a great takeaway as well. Thinking also on the long term. So, Tiff, now you work alongside with your husband to run this project. So, what has that experience been like, and what strengths and challenges have you found in the way to working together day to day?
Honestly, it's usually pretty good. Everyone always wonders how do you guys work with each other and then go home and see each other and blah 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 blah. Well, the good thing is the reason he works here full time is because I was so busy that I couldn't keep up with all the things myself. And so honestly, I don't see him that much at work. So he's doing a lot of administrative stuff. He's seeing some patients here and there, and I am usually running room to room, and I am constantly seeing patients. And so really we support each other pretty well. We're very much opposites, and everyone's heard opposites attract. And so we both support each other in our strengths and weaknesses. And so we kind of level each other out. Now, that doesn't mean there's not some downfalls. I think that like when there is a little bit of an argument or we don't see eye to eye on something, that if it wasn't my spouse, we probably would not argue as long about us one situation as we do, but we might keep going on and bickering about things. And you have to, I, at this point in my life, I don't really hold on to things. So I might argue about something, but I'm not really like taking it to heart. If it's something that I need to take to heart, then it's not a work thing. Like you have to kind of look at your spouse when you're in the office. Yes, they're your spouse. He's never not my spouse, but this is work. We have to be professional in what we're talking about, which means, you got to remove the emotions from it. You can't be mad about last night and bring that into work. When you get home, you can be mad again.
Yeah, it's a matter of that driving your emotions towards that and get like what's work, what's home, what's couple, what's team, and what are the challenges you guys are facing together and building up as a great team that can take new things for going forward. So that's
Yeah, and
great.
your spouse has to be really supportive of you. You have to believe in each other because when you don't, I mean, they're supposed to be your number one cheerleader. And if they don't believe in you, then working together is not going to work. And so I know what his strengths are. I recognize the things that he does better than me, and he recognizes what I do better than him, and we let each other run with those things.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thanks for sharing, Tiff. So, Tiff, you have your business already running for 5 years. That's also a big milestone. So, congrats for that.
Thanks.
What are you most proud of achieving so far? And what legacy would you like to be building for the future through your work and through your business?
So, honestly, as somebody who is always looking for the next thing, and I'm always, I'm very goal motivated, I'm very driven, I'm always looking to better myself. Sometimes I have trouble stepping back and looking at what I need to appreciate. And for a long time, I wouldn't really, it was hard to recognize what I've built until somebody would say, "Hey, I'm really proud of you." And it's like that imposter syndrome that we hear about. Like, I'm like,
Hmm.
well, I mean, if I can do this, anybody can do it. But really, I don't know that that's the case. I think it takes a special person to really start from the ground up, run and make a successful business. And um, I have to remind myself of that you need to step back and take a look at what you've built because sometimes I think it's no big deal, but it really is something special. And it really took a lot of work, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And I just have to sometimes kind of like wake up and, you know, take a look, step back, appreciate what you've done, and recognize that you really have done it. You really have done it, and it's a lot. So I think that again, my next step, I'm starting a new venture right now where I am finding a gap in the industry, which I'm hoping that I can be one of the people to fix. And so what I'm noticing is that, in aesthetics, we only see you in our office, you know, pretty infrequently when in comparison to what you're doing at home every day. And so we talk about good skincare and taking care of your skin at home, taking care of your body at home, because the things that you do every day, day in and day out, are going to really impact the results of the procedures you get in aesthetics. They're going to um, impact what you need to do in the future. And, we like to say that like 70 to 80% of your results are what you do at home and your lifestyle. And what I've come to find is that we want everybody on these really great skincare products. And we do carry really, really great skincare products. They are awesome, they work. I truly believe in them, but they are so expensive. And that's one of the things, I talked about money just a little bit earlier. And while I have to make a living, right? This is my job, this is my well being. I do have to make money for myself and my family and my kids to pay my own bills. But when it gets to the point that you're embarrassed to ask people to buy the great skincare because of how expensive it is, I think that means I need a change. And so I have actually started some courses and I've started researching because I'm going to make my own skincare line, and I'm going to make one that is simple and affordable and that works. And I think that that's just where I'm heading right now. I'm still carrying the things that are really expensive, but we actually just decreased our prices at our own loss because it's getting to the point where I just when the passion's not there, when I can't ask somebody to use it because I'm embarrassed of the price, then I have to change it. And so while we just undercut ourselves, I think that it will help more people. And so that has led me to learning how to be, I took chemistry, but there is cosmetic chemists out there. I'm not a cosmetic chemist, but I'm learning to formulate, and I'm going to start some, experiments with creating my own products. And hopefully that takes me into a place where I can provide skincare products that are just as good and affordable for everyone.
No, that's amazing, Tiff. I mean, and I love that you have such an empathetic, people first philosophy, and you're always aiming to connect genuinely to others, offer people something else, and like mean these new plans to grow your business of the new skincare line reflects that. So I would really
Hmm.
love to know a little bit more. How does this new project reflects the values that you have built at Pearl NP? How do you bring that philosophy into this project that you're building towards the skincare products?
Well, I guess, like you said, thinking long term, right? This isn't gonna be a short project. This is something that is gonna take me quite some time. There's a lot of research that goes into it. There's a lot of testing. There's a lot of, a lot of everything. And thinking long term is where my head needs to be because while we all want the quick fix now, I really try to help people understand. You might come in here, you might think you want this and you want the quick fix, but long term, that's not going to be what makes you happy. And so, helping people, educating people, understanding where the basis lies, and that you can't get good results if you don't have a good foundation. And so, without using good skincare, because it's so expensive, how can I truly help you? And so that's the gap that I need to close. I need to be able to get you in here, get you started with a great foundation, and then we can build from there. And the better your foundation, honestly, the less treatments you need.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like really going into the foundation, having the long-term vision, and towards doing something unique, and it ties back to your values, it ties back to your purpose, towards what you want from Pearl NP, towards to the future. So it's very people oriented and it's very human approach as well. So that's
Yeah, I
that's
really try
amazing.
to keep in mind what I would want. And that's something that I always ask myself. If I went in somewhere and I said, well, this is what I heard. I don't go get my hair done and tell my hairstylist, well, this is what I think you need to do. I tell her what I want and I let her decide the plan. And so I don't ever try to put myself in a position where I pretend I know something that I don't. And again, reminding yourself that when people come in, they're looking for your expertise. And that's what I'm here to do, is to help them. And I can't help them if I can't provide the foundation.
Yeah, definitely. And you provide trust and you provide honesty and you provide being yourself as well with the people that trust in you. So that's great, Tiff. So through this incredible adventure as entrepreneur, what has been the biggest challenge or mistake that you faced? And you're probably thinking, Juan is crazy. Why is he thinking about mistakes and not about success? And I believe that when beyond the moment itself, what I mean, from mistakes, you can really, really learn deep lessons that are like marked in yourself for the future. What was the biggest mistake? What did you learn? And what advice would you give other business owners so they can grow from this kind of experience?
Hmm. Listen, I make mistakes probably every day. Um, I think that, gosh, I think in the beginning, possibly, I think it was hard to get comfortable. Um, like I said, like before I became a nurse practitioner and before I talked to people every day in family practice, I was pretty shy, believe it or not. And until I sat and talked to people and I recognized that like we're all the same and I can talk to people freely and it's okay to make mistakes and recognize that you made the mistake. I think that's the big deal. So I don't know, like in the beginning, if I kind of faked my confidence to make sure that people would come in and like try to make them trust me. I didn't hurt anyone along the way, thank God. But I think that sometimes the biggest mistakes in business is not recognizing your shortcomings, um, not being aware of what you don't know, not researching something because you think, not a big deal. They're not going to say anything about it. No, you need to be very aware that, anything can happen. And I mean, I work in medicine. This is a risky business, and I also make sure everybody understands the risks that they're getting involved in. So you have to make sure that you're just aware of the risk that you're putting on your patient, that you're putting on yourself, and that they understand it and they're willing to take that risk. And I think maybe in the beginning, I was a little unaware of, I didn't know what I didn't know. And that's dangerous. And so I think that just being more self-aware is important. Knowing when to say, listen, I'm not going to do that, not because I don't think you should get it. I'm not going to do it because I don't feel confident in my ability to do it safely. And so making sure that you're not just giving people what they want because they want it and you don't know how to do it well. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, no,
You just want to do it all when you start because you just want to have everything available and you want to be able to make everybody happy, but you're going to make them happy when you give them good results, and you can't give them good results if you don't know what you're doing.
yeah. No, the matter of being self-aware, I think it's important. And it's also the matter of having focus. As you were saying at the beginning, it's tough to say no, and it's difficult to you want to do 10 million things, but at the end is you need to make decisions, make trade-offs on the beginning of this journey, and start like being delivering towards who you are and what do you want for people. So I think that's great to share. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
So Tiff, for those who are listening now, who are at the point of between staying on a safe path, let's say being an employee, or taking the leap into something new and becoming an entrepreneur, becoming your own boss, if you can call it like that, like starting your own business, what advice would you give them?
Oh gosh, this is where one of our balancing acts with my husband, because I'm one of those people that is a very big risk taker, and I think that I don't always think everything through. And my husband is a numbers guy, and he will sit down and crunch the numbers and say, this is why that's not going to work. Um, so I think that if you're thinking about taking the leap, I never want to tell people not to do it, but you also have to make sure that you know the risks. You're going to have to grind. Like I said, when I started, I still worked in family practice full time. I would work a full day at work and then I'd come into the spa in the evening. And people were like, how are you doing that? How are you going to work at 6 in the morning and then you're going to the spa in the evening after work and not getting home until 8 p.m. and then taking care of your kids? And it's because I want it, because this is the way it's going to work. I have to keep a safety net. My medical practice was my safety net while I was building the aesthetics practice. And that meant I had to work double time. You're going to have to grind. It's going to be hard. You're going to be tired. You just have to keep going. If it's something that you're truly passionate about, you have to keep going. But you can't be silly and put your whole family at risk and jump into something that you know nothing about. Like I said,
Yeah.
we learn every day, and we're trying to follow every single rule to a T. And there's times that we learn, we haven't been doing that record keeping the right way, and so we fix it. But it's constant learning and constant grinding. It's going to take a long time of not getting back from your business before you do.
Yeah, you share a lot of great tips towards that, of being committed to the goal, committed to the passion, as you say, have this safety plan as well, but towards having in your own mind where do you want to get, and start building that every day, be opening to learn and be always to transform yourself. And it's the matter of finding a new identity of the person you are building towards along that business as well. So I think that's incredible.
Yeah,
So
and it's okay to change along the way. Like you said, finding your identity. It's okay. As people, we grow, we evolve, and it's okay to change. You don't have to always remain the person that you were. You can change your values, you can change your goals, you can change things. Just because you didn't reach one goal, you pivot. There's going to be times that if the goal doesn't work, learn from it, pivot, do something different, make it work a different way. And so don't be afraid to, adjust yourself if that's truly what you're passionate about.
yeah, definitely. And it's also the matter of don't be afraid to try something new. Worst thing that happen is doesn't work. You move to the other one, you learn, and the next one you do, it's gonna be better. So I think
Yeah.
that's a great way of seeing things. So, Tiff, let's say for a moment that you have a time machine, all right? And if you go back to 2020 and you see that thief that it's in the nursing work and thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, you're excited, you have a lot of ideas, you have some fears about it. What would you tell that Tiffany 2020? What would like to hear on that particular moment, and what would you recommend to yourself?
Slowing down. I think that I was trying, and sometimes I still do try to do it all. And I think that's where I lack that appreciation for what I've done thus far and what I've built. And it's important to step back and recognize how far you've come and recognize the work you've put in, because if you can't appreciate how much you've done, it's hard to keep going. And that's when I have to like get a reality check when people tell me how proud they are of me. And I'm like, yeah, they're right, actually. And I need to be proud of myself. So, a lot of times I would be like focusing on, oh, why am I not here yet? Why am I not there yet? And recognizing that growing a business is slow, it takes time. It is not when they say if you build it, they will come. No, they won't. No, they won't. If it's there, they're not just going to walk in the door. You have to connect to get people to walk in the door. You have to give them a reason to walk in the door, and um, you have to put in the work, and then step back and admire your own work.
Yeah. No, that's something amazing. Like take step by step, take strong steps, and always like recognize yourself and recognize these small successes that you're doing because you're doing great. And the first person that need to believe in yourself is you. So I think that's really inspiring. Tiff, to start closing up this conversation, like I really love this conversation, chatting, getting to know you more about your passion, your business, and it has been a really incredible moment for me. And personally, my biggest takeaway from this conversation is your successful transition from being an employee to becoming an entrepreneur with courage, with vision, and to drive and to bring your dream to life. So that's really heart touching for me. But this moment is also your moment. So I would like to give you a space for you to share any message that comes from your heart to those who are listening. It could be a piece of advice, it could be a metaphor, a story, a book, whatever you truly feel like recommending to the people that are listening to us.
I think that you have to really think about what your true passion is and don't lose sight of that passion because you have to remember that, um, a lot of times we go into careers or positions because we see our parents do it and we saw our siblings do it and we just want to do what they did because we admire those people. But is that truly what you want to do? And if it's not, you need to do what you're passionate about. And so when I say don't lose your passion, I don't mean like make yourself love what you're doing. You need to do what you love to do. And so finding your passion, going for it, your clients are searching for a connection and they won't always remember exactly how you said things. They might not remember what you looked like when you said it, but they know how you made them feel when you did it, when you said it, when they had an experience with you. And so if you're not passionate about what you're doing, your clients can very quickly recognize a fraud from miles away, kilometers. You guys use kilometers away, right? So, if you lose your passion, then move on to what's next. If you don't love what you're doing, let that thing go because when it doesn't come from a place that is in your heart and in your mind and in your gut, like you talked about, them all working synergistically, then you can't provide the best care. And so if you lose your passion, find what your new passion is. Because when you don't love what you do, your clients can't love what you do. They're really looking for that connection. And if you can't provide it, they're going to go to somebody who can.
No, thank you, Tiff. That was amazing. Like find your own passion, don't lose your passion, and it's the passion that drives what you do, and it's the passion that drives how do you connect with people that you serve every day. So that's amazing. Thanks so much for sharing. And Tiff, where can people find you? Where can people find your business or contact you? How do they reach out?
Actually, we have our website is Pearl NP, like nurse practitioner.com. That's my aesthetic business. It's Pearl Aesthetics and Wellness. And I mean, I guess I should share. I came up with Pearl. A lot of people don't know this. If you've heard the story of the pearl, a pearl
Hmm.
is created inside of an oyster, inside of a shellfish. And it's really created as um, a protector. If a little piece of sand gets inside of this oyster, then it hurts. It hurts the animal inside the shell. And it's kind of think about, what's bothering me? What's this little thing that is hurting my confidence? And so it starts to create, it uses mother of pearl, nacre, to create this pearl around the sand. That's where a pearl comes from. And the something beautiful comes out of something that was really irritating to the animal. So side note, I guess, squirrel, that's where my name comes from. But the we are on Instagram, we're on TikTok. You can get to all of our social medias through our website. And then with the new venture, I've kind of created something a little different because I'm not sure where it's going to all flow into yet. But it is called prettylittlelab.com. Pretty Little Lab. And so that's really just my blog. I just launched my blog about 2 weeks ago. And that's just going to share the journey of learning how to create a skincare line. And if you're interested in that, or you have ever had interest in creating your own skincare, I'm going to share all the things that I'm doing, and hopefully that helps someone. Maybe people can make some things at home so that they can have the skincare and they don't have to pay hundreds of dollars for the stuff we have in the office. But, on that journey, I'm going to talk about it, because when I was trying to figure out how to start, I couldn't find anything. And so that's what
Yeah.
I'm doing.
No, that's amazing. Congrats for that and your spirit of sharing your knowledge, your passion, and your dreams with others. Like, please share your website, your social media with me so I can add it to the description once
Yep.
I upload the episode. That would be great. And Tiff, thank you from the bottom of my heart
Thank
so
you,
much
Juan.
for
I'm so glad that we did this.
Yes, thank you for much for your time, for opening your heart, for sharing your story with such authenticity. And today you have left us with really powerful lessons, like that big changes begin with a brave decision, that confidence is built by caring for what makes us unique, and that dreams are brought to life through vision, teamwork, and perseverance, as you say, every day, going slow.
Mhm.
And if this message reach you out to the people that are listening to us, share it. If it inspired you, go out, take action, because someone right now might need to hear these words, might need to go into Tip's blog and listen and learn about it, and receive them just when they least expect it.
Yeah, and
Eh,
everyone can feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions that while you're listening, if you really wish you could have asked something during this podcast, feel free to reach out, because I love helping other people in a way that I can. I do believe in karma, and when I needed the help, I was really grateful for the people that would just give me those 2 cents that I needed to get on to the next step. And so if you have questions or have anything you want to reach out about, feel free. I'm an open book.
Yeah, thank you for that, Tiff. That passion and that honesty, it's admiring. So, thank you, and gracias de corazón a todos los que nos acompañaron hoy por estar aquí, por ser parte de esta conversación tan especial. Y si algo de lo que escuchaste hoy te inspiró o te movió, compártelo con alguien más. Nos escuchamos en el próximo episodio de Momentos que lo cambian todo y recuerda, marca tu momento. Gracias a todos.